Jeffy actually the boogeyman, and that's actually was the president's best friend. And the boogeyman, like, the actual boogeyman was like, he's the devil. Guys, we gotta do something about that. Guys, oh, this is the bad place. Guys, my lower back hurts. My lower back is killing me from being on my goddamn ass all the time. Just being inside. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being inside. My lower back hurts because I'm sick of being inside. I'm inside all the time. It's winter. It's February. Like, all my mornings are Monday, stuck in an endless February. That's where oh my god, but it is. But that song's also, I took the miracle, move on drugs, the effects were temporary. I'm still in the torture poets department. I love the torture. We weren't even gonna talk about the torture poets department today. We're gonna talk about Britney Spears today. Actually, I'm gonna introduce myself. Hi, I'm Brinly. I'm your host. Welcome to Brinly's Yapathon. We're yapping. Back to what I was saying. All of a sudden, I'm talking about the torture poets department, but I didn't even plan on talking about Taylor Swift today. I could talk about Britney Spears and Addison Rae, and I will, and I'm gonna get there. But the tortured poets department just got me like. That's my two different personalities. That's guys on God. That's my two personalities at war with each other, okay? The Tortured Poets Department and a Britney Spears album. And Blackout by Britney Spears. There are two wolves inside of you. One is the Tortured Poets Department, and the other one is Britney Spears' Blackout. Those are the two wolves inside of me. Like, you got that dog in you? Yeah, the Tortured Poets Department and Blackout by Britney Spears. Like, oh, my mornings are Monday, stuck in an endless February. But I love you. It's ruining my life. I love you. It's ruining my life. I touched you for only a fortnight. I touched you, and I touched you. Guys, oh my gosh, I love Life of a Showgirl. I really do. The album's actually grown on me so much. And oh my gosh, the Oblate music video. I guess we're doing a whole Taylor Swift segment now. The Oblate music video was so cute. It brought me so much joy. That music video brought me so much joy because it just is a perfect embodiment of like who Taylor is as an artist. And it makes me emotional because I'm like, this feels like for the first time in a long time, I'm seeing that little girl who was dancing in her bedroom like in the You Belong With Me music video. Like, that was the Taylor Swift that I saw on screen. It made me so emotional. I met somebody random this week and we were talking about Taylor Swift, and it was a man. I was very impressed. I was at like a background acting gig, and I was talking to this guy on set, and I was like, we're just talking about music. Taylor Swift comes up. You know, Taylor Swift comes up in a conversation. I always get nervous. Because, especially with a man, because I'm like, well, am I about to have to beat a man up? And so, bring up Taylor Swift. He starts saying good things about Taylor Swift. He had brought up his girlfriend earlier in the conversation, and I was like, what is your girlfriend's favorite Taylor Swift albums? He was like, starts thinking about it. I was like, because you gotta know that. I was like, you have to know your girlfriend's favorite Taylor Swift albums. Like, her favorite Taylor Swift album says a lot about her. I was like, you better know her favorite Taylor Swift albums. To this man I just met. He was like, no, like, I know. He starts explaining to me why Red's her favorite album. And I was like, super valid. And I even said to him, I was like, yeah, like, Red TV dropped when I first moved to this city and, like, was going through, like, a breakup with my friend group from high school and, like, all this other stuff. And he was like, oh, so that dropped at a really good time for you. And I was like, good, and he's listening. This man was even listening to Taylor's words. Like, he knew what the album was about. So I was very impressed with that. But did we see how men do the bare minimum? And I'm like, wow, I'm impressed. Because any woman could, in length talk about Taylor Swift. But just to let you know, ladies, there are men out there when you dig through the trash. Some that will care about what is your favorite Taylor Swift album. Those are the only men. That was the only reason I was willing to participate in a conversation with this man. I was like, oh, you respect your girlfriend. I'll keep having this conversation with you. I'm not going to start socially shutting you. It's okay. Anyways. But I was talking about how what I loved about the Opalite music video is that, right, like, a lot of us who are Taylor Swift fans, like, if you've been a Taylor Swift fan since debut, like, you grew up with Taylor Swift. Like, I remember listening to Taylor Swift in elementary school. I remember because it came out in 2006, so I would have been 3. But then, as soon as I started going to, like, pool parties, like, I was put into preschool, so I started school when I was 3. And, you know, about a year into preschool, whatever, that's when we started doing, like, my mom and all the other preschool moms would do, like, you know, different play dates. And I remember going over to play dates and listening to Disney Channel in the car and listening to Taylor Swift on the radio. And I remember, I remember her in the Disney Channel, so I was always confused that she wasn't a Disney star. And, like, she was in the Hannah Montana movie, and I was a big Hannah Montana girly. And you know when the Hannah Montana tickets drop, I'm clawing, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to be there. And if I heard some little rule that they're not gonna allow people under 25 to... I'm gonna knock your teeth out. And I'm gonna knock your teeth out. I gotta be there. I loved Hannah Montana when I was younger, and I got introduced to Taylor Swift, like, her as a person through the Hannah Montana movie. Like, she was just, like, in the background, but then it was like, oh, she's on the radio, whatever. And I lived in Indiana, so they loved playing that country shit. They would play Taylor not even on Disney Channel. Like, her songs would be on the Country Channel, which would be on everywhere, in every grocery store you go into. And I remember being little, it's just like, just like, it reminds me of being so little. Like, I was riding shotgun with my hair undone in the front seat of his car. Like, and every single, like, Picture to Burn would be on the radio. There were so many, like, singles from that album. And I, like, it's just, and then right then Fearless happens. And I remember the monumental cultural moment of Fearless and seeing the You Belong With Me music video. And I couldn't have been more than, like, at that point, I have to be, what, like, dare I say 6 or 7? Literally. And being like, and my uncle was graduating high school at the time. He was a high schooler. And I just remember, so I just saw him go through all of high school, and, like, Taylor just dropped Fearless, and I remember being like, oh my gosh, that's what being a teenager is like. Like, this is what it's like to be a teenage girl. Like, and it was just like, she represented that media in a way that no one ever had before, and it was captivating. And her storytelling goes all the way back to there, of, like, the whole You Belong With Me music video. And this just felt so much like that. And I think as Taylor Swift fans, it's been, you know, when you've been with her this long and you've seen, like, what she went through with Reputation, and then also what she went through, like, in the whole 1989 era, and just, like, watching her grow up and go through all those dark periods, and then, like, the whole point of Opalite, like, it's literally the whole point of the music video is about, like, and this album is about, like, it is the life of a showgirl. It's, like, her life outside of being a showgirl. And I think everyone took that album name too literally, and it's just always like Taylor she's thinking too hard, and y'all aren't connecting because she's thinking too hard. And it's like, the Opalite music video, it was fun and silly, which is what Taylor's always wants to do with art. Taylor, at the end of the day, just wants to be fun and silly. And you guys have made it impossible for us to have fun, silly Taylor Swift in a while. The Taylor Swift that became famous because she was so good at being fun and silly. Like, she's full of joy and whimsy, and y'all tried to beat it out of her, and she didn't let you. Gosh. So, it was fun and silly. Also, it was a huge flex, because her just casually being like, some of the most famous actor and actresses in the world, just be in my music video. Everyone posted up. Everyone posted up. Like, it's just such a flex to be able, on the drop of a dime, get people from the industry to come do a silly little music video with you. They're like, I'm gonna clear my schedule. powerful. So on top of that, we get Taylor Swift being a power player. We also, of course, get her breaking records every time. She always does. Like, it's hard to keep up with them anymore. She's broken so many records. Like, she broke the streaming record for the most most viewed video on Spotify. Because that new Spotify feature, you can watch music videos. Girly. Every time. She does it every single time. And everyone can be mad. That's a great thing. Like, it's just... It was so cute. It was so joyful, and I loved it. I forgot that had happened. So much has been going on. But, yeah, the Taylor Swift Opalite music video dropped, and I loved it. But, in good political news, nobody watched the Kirkathon. That's hilarious. Nobody gave a shit about Kid Rock. I had to look up, I was like, do I know a Kid Rock song? And let me tell you the only Kid Rock song I know. The only Kid Rock song I know, which I think a lot of people know the song, is Sweet Home Alabama. I was like, I have one song liked. It was Sweet Home Alabama, okay? But you want to know why I had Sweet Home Alabama saved? Well, because one, I have a playlist called Let's Pretend to Be Country, where I just kind of put, like, gimmicky country songs like Sweet Home Alabama all on this one playlist. It's my gimmicky country song playlist. Because you know I got a playlist for everything. I'm not playing around. So I have it on that playlist. And then number 2, when me and my sister were really little and we were on a road trip one time, that song was on in the car. And we made up lyrics. We made up lyrics to the song. And for years I didn't know the actual words because my sister and I would only sing the fake version. And I can't remember the rest of the song, but I can tell you that it went like this. It went, Sweet Home Alabraska, and I know you stole my cheese. Yep, that was the lyrics that my sister and I came up with. We were dying in the backseat, pissing ourselves. Sweet Home Alabraska, and I know you stole my cheese. And me and my sister, we would relentlessly sing this at my mother, at anyone who would listen. And we're in a car trip, sing it the whole trip. And with our dead chest. And there was more lyrics to it, but I only remember Sweet Home Alabraska, and I know you stole my cheese. And I don't know the actual words of Sweet Home Alabama. And we thought it was hilarious because we were combining Alabama with Nebraska. And so we said Alabraska. That was how that came into birth. And I know you stole my cheese. I don't know. We were kids, like little, like single digits young. I have no idea. This is like back in the day when kids had creativity. Okay? We had nothing to do in the car. We didn't have iPads. We got to sit there and come up with Sweet Home Alabraska, and I know you stole my cheese. And I promise you this is real, because a couple years ago, my sister made me a custom sweater for Christmas. I shit you not, look at that. It says Sweet Home Alabraska, and I know you stole my cheese. I shit you not. I'm gonna walk up, you can see. Look at this. That's real. That is a real Christmas gift I received. That's how real that story was. I can't make this stuff up. My sister and I were young girls with undiagnosed autism, and we came up with Sweet Home Alabraska, and I know you stole my cheese, because that is the power of an autistic brain. And it was so funny. I'm telling you, that's how funny we found it as children. We thought we were like, this is the funniest thing ever. No one's ever gonna come up with anything funnier than Sweet Home Alabraska, and I know you stole my cheese. And we would sing it, and we'd sing it, and my mom would have to be like, stop, please. It's that scene in Shrek where he's like, Donkey, can you be quiet for 5 seconds? And then Donkey like counts to 5, like, and then he makes the popping sound. It's like that. We would drive my mother up a wall with Sweet Home Alabraska, and I know you stole my cheese. And it was just you know, when you're a kid, that's the beauty of a child's mind. You can come up with like the most, it's like nonsense, and it's just like, we have that joy and whimsy inside of us. I know we have that childlike joy and whimsy inside of us, guys. Like, And it's right there. It's so simple. Like, it's like just as dumb as that. And I just, I'm always preaching. I'm always on my soapbox about getting back to that childlike whimsy. But it's just like, it's there. It's inside of us. Our childlike joy and whimsy's inside of us if we really search for it. And we just gotta lock in, guys. And we gotta lock in. Okay? That's the philosophy behind Sweet Home Alabraska, and I Know You Stole My Cheese. And you see, now they said a couple times, you're like, your mom probably was losing her mind. That's the most annoying nonsensical sentence I ever heard. And it was probably worse back in the day when there were more terrible lyrics that would come up by, like, 2 5-year-olds. But, yeah, this is how real that bit was. I'm never lying to you guys. This time I had receipts. I know I say some shit sometimes, and you're like, but she's up here saying something, but like... And that's on Kid Rock's performance at the Kirk Time halftime show. The quirked up Kirk halftime show. The quirked up Kirk, Charlie Perky halftime show. Low Kirk and Julie, it was the Super Bowl halftime show. High Kirk and Julie even, Sweet Home Alabraska, and I Know You Stole My Cheese. Yeah. Hi, Kirk and Julie. I said it. And low Kirk and Julie, I'm not sorry. So, we're getting kirked up on the Perky at the Kid Rock, low Kirk and Julie, high Kirk and Julie best Super Bowl halftime show of all time. Everyone loved it. Only like 3 million people tuned into the live stream. That's how good it was. 3 million. And 130 million watched Bad Bunnies, but probably the quirked up, perked up, Kirk halftime, Kid Rock, Alabraska, Stolen Cheese halftime show. It was the best halftime show in all time. He was quirked up, he was perked up, and Low Kirk and Julie, the Kid rocked. He's an old man now. But I'm Donald Trump. I love kids. Oh, God. I'm sorry. That was not an okay joke. That's where the bit ends. That's where I'm ending the bit right now. But that's also insane that we're just... No, because... the files! What the hell? And why the week I started playing Fortnite, they're like... Jeffy on the Fortnite. Dude, I started playing Fortnite. The week I started playing Fortnite, we started talking about him playing Fortnite. Oh my god. Like, he's actually the boogeyman. Like, actually, like, y'all ever think about how Jeffy really actually the boogeyman? Like, deadass. No, because he literally was, like, he's actually the boogeyman, guys. Like, actually, like, think about, like, at least for me, my parents told me I was gonna be kidnapped all the time. I don't know, it was anyone else's parents just all the time. Like, you're gonna be kidnapped. Like, but, I mean, like, they were, well, maybe they were right. Like, well, but, like, Jeffy actually the boogeyman, and that's actually was the president's best friend. And the boogeyman, like, the actual boogeyman was, like, he's the devil. Guys, we gotta do something about that. Guys, oh, this is the bad place. I know it's gonna be the bad place. The boogeyman and the devil? Oh, guys, oh no, it's almost like what Christ warned you against. Fuckers. It's almost almost like what if you actually read the Bible, what they were warning you against. Oh no, your false idol. Don't worship a false idol. God, no. When you worship like Jesus, isn't it kind of like worshiping a false idol? And he said to only worship the one true God, and maybe you're misinterpreting the text because he was actually talking. Oh. Damn. How do we... Yeah. That's my political statement for the day. And you can quote me on that any day of the week. You got it. Quirked up, perked up. Low Kerkentrally, High Kerkentrally, the best halftime show of all time. I did watch all the Super Bowl though. Me and my boyfriend and my roommates, we had like a very small little Super Bowl party. My boyfriend and I grew up watching the Super Bowl, but they didn't at all. I guess one of them had, but the other one hadn't, like, kind of. But my family was, like, big into football. Always has been, always will be. I grew up with people screaming at the television. What was really cool was that it was taking place in California, in the same area that my parents grew up. Like, my parents are from Oakland, like, the Bay Area, San Francisco. Like, they're from that area. Well, they're from Oakland specifically. They obviously spent time in those other areas. So they were just doing shots of all three of those places, and I've spent so much time there. In the past year, I went back there because my grandfather passed away, so we were out there. So it was really just, and at one point they had high schoolers come, like MVP high schoolers, and they're, like, the MVP high schooler was from my parents' high school. That was really cool. I was logged in, of course, I was rooting for the Seahawks. Which is just, it was a very metaphorical Super Bowl. Like, I do think it's interesting when that many people of a nation put their energy into something, how it really, like, reflects the culture. And just, like, how the event shapes it to, like, metaphorically what's going on. Like, I think it's, like, a weird, like, destiny, fate sort of thing of, like, that just, like, the collective puts its energy into, and then and I've been thinking a lot about, like, basically, like, the Matrix of the universe, which we're gonna get into, because we're talking about glitches in the Matrix later today. But, yeah, it was, so obviously I was rooting for the Seahawks, is to say. And it was, well, the first half was boring. It was a boring first half. I was like, damn, the Patriots aren't gonna score at all? Like, walkie slash. Ugh, that's walkie slash. I was like, I'm glad that they were losing. But I was just like, damn. I was saying that's also metaphorical. Like, metaphorically, like, this is, oh my gosh, but before the show even started, Green Day? Don't wanna be an American idiot. Oh my god. I was like, that, and you could hear the crowd screaming it through the microphone. They were being loud. And I think that's beautiful. That reflection of the American people right now, and that truly the American people, like, the Super Bowl is, like, something that everyone participates in nearly in the country. It's like, even if you don't watch it, it affects you. And it's just, like, seeing America really say, because we're all tuned in the same event, say, rejecting all the bullshit, loudly screaming Green Day. You know, Bad Bunny's performance was the most viewed Super Bowl halftime show of all time. That is so beautiful. Like, it was such a touching and empowering halftime show. Like, I don't speak Spanish. I understand very little Spanish because both my roommates are Spanish speakers, and my one roommate, my best friend, she speaks Spanish fluently, and I've lived with her for, like, half a decade. So, like, I can pick up on Spanish, but I definitely can't speak it. But I've just spent a lot of time around Spanish speakers, so I can understand, like, Spanish enough that, like, I was grateful that I can understand Spanish just enough. And then having my roommate translate certain things and be like, you know, and he's saying this, like, and she was like, they're not bleeping him because he's speaking in Spanish. She was like, so they're just letting him talk about just insanely sexual stuff up there. She was like, and I didn't even think about the fact that, like, would they bleep him or not bleep him, but I think that's a dub. But yeah, I can understand Spanish just enough that I still, like, but the whole thing, just the energy around it, the energy was like, you know, as a psychic, this is the type of stuff I pick up on. So I was really kind of taking in the energy reading of it, and just, like, there was a golden light around it. Like, there was such it was so powerful to see, and just like, I can't imagine, like, Bad Bunny is the biggest artist in the world, and just like to be in his position and to handle it with such grace was truly profound to watch. Just to watch somebody have that moment is so empowering and so beautiful. And you know, like, then they're in the halftime show, the wedding, it was crazy. There was a wedding. Lady Gaga up here, we were gagged. We were like, what's Lady Gaga doing here? But that cover was great. Like, and she looked fantastic. Like, oh my gosh, Gaga. Loving Gaga back in the cultural spotlight right now. Really enjoying it. But then in the halftime show, right, we have where Bad Bunny hands the Grammy to what's supposed to be younger version of himself, but it was the little boy who that photo came out of ICE detaining him. And I guess I need to look into the story of how, like, he, like, his journey, how then he's in Bad Bunny's halftime show. But that was, like, that image is so profound. And it's just, like, I'm so grateful that, like, that is the energy that, like, such a big platform like the NFL decided to uplift. And I gotta look into, like, how that happened, because, and it's such a good sign, and, you know, something that we can continue this energy pushes forward to show big companies, like, this is what people want. And people are going to engage with this. Like, you can have the naysayers say whatever they want, but at the end of the day, there's only 3 million of them enjoying Sweet Home Alabraska, and they're just mad because they're mad someone stole their cheese. They feel like their cheese was stolen. That's what they're mad about. They think someone stole their cheese, and that's why they couldn't have shitty Kid Rock performance during the halftime show, because they can't read a room. Okay? And I do fear, I know some people who, like, I didn't think of them as a Kid Rock halftime performance enjoyer. And I recently found out, like, someone, like, close to me is, and I was like, you know Brinley's trying to figure out how to handle that one. You know Brinley is making steps accordingly. Like, that's what I'm saying, guys. Like, when we find out these certain things in our life, that certain people are so far gone, like, it's not something you brush under the rug. You go, ooh, time to reevaluate this relationship. Time to reevaluate. So, that is that. And then the second half of the Super Bowl, wrap up the Bad Bunny performance. It was, I mean, I don't really know. I don't think I have the proper words to capture, like, how moving it was. Like, I, of course, care deeply about the situation in this country, and I clearly am. I'm trying to figure out the best way to articulate this. It's just, like, I'm never going to be able to articulate how moving that was, because I am not being directly affected by how this regime is acting. It does affect people in my lives very, very closely, and so I am not affected by that, but that's what I'm just like, gosh, it is so bizarre to me that, like, just so many, and this is, like, I feel like this is a good opportunity to re-emphasize again, like, as a white person, and any white person's listening to this, it is our jobs to call out repetitively and never get off of this toxic white evangelical, like, Trumpism culture. Like, there is never a moment where we can take our foot off the gas pedal. Like, I'm gonna keep calling them out, and I'm gonna keep re-emphasizing, like, as a white person, it is our jobs to get up at the white cultist evangelical America's face and continuously and perpetually and never stop until we have balance again, to, like, I'm just gonna keep calling them out. I'm not getting off their necks, and I'm not gonna apologize for it. And I'm you know, I feel like when I first started, I was trying to figure out how to articulate these things, and now I'm just at a point where I'm gonna keep saying it, and I'm gonna call it what it is. It's white evangelicalism, like, culture, and I'll dive into that too, but it's just like, oh God, I'm gonna keep finding the mega church. I'm gonna keep doing it, okay? And I think something that I would really recommend if you want a full deep dive on this is I love the I've Had It podcast. I'm sure you guys have seen their clips online. I didn't even mean to go into this topic. But it's with Jennifer Welch and Angie Sullivan. I so recommend it. They are, like, one of their episodes recently on January 29th was called Kink Shame MAGA. They constantly talk about in their podcast, and I love these women. Because I love how they talk about the politics in the government. I love how articulated they are. They're so smart, and they are so good at calling out white America, and it's so fantastic to listen to and funny to listen to. They handle it so well. But they are always talking about, like, kink shaming MAGA. Like, MAGA is, we can't be afraid to pull any punches. And I'm gonna keep being as annoying as possible. So I invite you all to continue to be as annoying as I'm set on being. Okay? And I didn't plan to talk about this, so my brain is mushy. It's stinky poopy, guys. It's fucking stinky poopy. Did I already explain that that's a new vocal stim? If I don't like something, stinky poopy, that is stinky. MAGA, guys, you kind of are stinky poopy. You kind of smell like shit. Dog, straight up, you smell like stinky poopy. You smell like a dirty diaper. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I'd recommend that podcast. My whole point is they're like lawyers, and they're a lot more articulate than I am. I am, just a quirked up white girl. I'm here for the Gen Z pop divas with autism. Okay? Pop divas can have autism too, guys. That's a good transition. That's a good transition into my next topic. Britney Spears. I've been really getting back into Britney Spears, another artist that I grew up with. I mean, Britney is the formula. If you don't understand that Britney's the formula, because I was listening to Addison Rae and I was like, oh, I enjoy this album so much. Like, I wish it wasn't only 30 minutes. I wish there was more of this. And then I remember, right, this is just the, this is a product. This is the product of a formula. Because Britney Spears is the formula. The Zara Larsson, Addison Rae, I mean, like, pretty much every pop girlie in some way or another, even Halsey and Taylor Swift, even though very differently in vocal tone and song style, but are inspired by Britney Spears. I mean, Halsey has a Britney Spears song, like, she uses it for, Lucky. She uses that song as not a feature, sample. She samples that. So, Britney's everywhere. Britney is baked into every pop star you've ever listened to ever in your whole life. And I am declaring right now, and I need everyone to get on board, okay? Y'all had Brat Summer, and I'm gonna just say it, I don't like Charlie XCX. I don't like her. I think I actually have already said this. I don't think she's a girl's girl. I think she wants to be liked by men. I think one time I was seeing an interview with her, and she was like, men are less drama. Get out of my face. And I love to support women, but when you're not a girl's girl, and your music, quite frankly, I'm sorry, is horrible. I'm sorry, if you like Brat, I mean, like, you literally have to be on drugs to enjoy it. I got the apple, oh gosh. And she can only use autotune. I don't like Charlie XCX, and I'm gonna keep saying it. So I'm glad y'all got to have Brat Summer, and I hope you guys enjoyed your Coke that summer. I didn't, because that album's horrible. I think aesthetically it's fun. I think the aestheticism of the album is good, but that's just, like, burnout aestheticism right now. Like, she's just, like, she didn't invent anything. She was just, like, doing something that everyone else was doing, and then they're like, oh, she's creating a cultural moment. No, I guess she was just kind of pointing at it. Like, I think the first, like, the only, like, superstar B4 I'm invested in is, which is not even a B4 because Taylor's winning by so, like, because it's actually romantic, everything Charlie XCX is doing, and I'm so glad Taylor, you know, gave me some words for that. But it's just, like, the only one I'm invested in because I think it's valid is, like, the Charlie XCX v. Taylor, because it's just, like, classic. And I just, like, like, I don't know. Like, if you're, like, down bad for Charlie XCX, like, it really... it makes me concerned about you. Like, if you're really a stan for her, like, y'all freak me out. Hope you're doing well. Sorry, I was being bitchy. What was I talking about? Britney Spears! Whatever. So y'all had Brat Summer, whatever. Goodbye. What I need and want is for you all to lock in and make Blackout by Britney Spears chart again. Can we have Blackout Summer? Guys, Blackout Summer. Blackout Summer, okay? Okay, like, what year did that album come out? Give me a second. That album came out, I know this, 2007, because I was like, I feel like it came out a decade ago. Came out nine years ago, okay? So, I guess we could save it for 2027, but I don't want to. Blackout Summer now. Blackout Summer now, okay? I'm gonna keep saying it to you guys. I need you all to revisit that album. I need you to go revisit Blackout and start streaming it. And we need to get back on the charts. And then people will see it's back on the charts. And then other people will stream it. And then it'll be Blackout Summer. Guys, I'm feeling it. Do you see this outfit? I was planning it around. I was like going for like that 2000s Blackout vibes. Okay? Guys? Because I was like, oh, I wish this Addison Rae album was longer. I'm like, oh, wait. Let's go listen to the OG that is better. Okay? Like... And you know I love me some Addison Rae, but nothing compares to Britney. Nothing compares to Britney. I love Britney Spears. Like, I love, too, because if I'm a little drunk, it doesn't sound like in any Britney Spears song they're saying Britney. It sounds like they're saying Brinly, and I'm always like, like, one of the highlights of my life was being at a party in high school, and everyone, instead of saying Britney bitch, did say Brinly bitch. That happened once. That happened one time, and I'm guarantee I'm the only person who remembers it, because... it was a really important moment to me, and they were all drunk. And that's totally okay. But it was really defining for me. And, yeah, I just love how iconic she is. And when I listen to her, I feel iconic because I'm like, yes. Yes, diva. Like, I see how that's embodied in me. Like, again, I grew up watching Britney Spears. And I remember being like, and I remember, again, the media just, like, slut-shaming her. This is, like, Dolly Parton has a story where she talks about how when she grew up, everyone around her, like, there was, like, the town whore, and they would, like, shame her, and Dolly was, as a kid, was like, I was always so confused because she was the prettiest girl in town. And that is exactly how I feel about Britney Spears. I remember growing up with Britney Spears, and everyone shaming her, and being like, oh, she's, you know, a freak, and she is a whore, and she's, you know, bad influence on young girls, and me being like, but she's so pretty and so cool and so powerful, like, why would anyone dislike that? And so all of that energy, I feel like the vibe, summer 2026, Blackout Summer, guys, lock in, okay? Lock in. I'm gonna keep saying it. I need it to be Blackout Summer culturally. Can you imagine? That'd be so fun. Let's just bring it back. Let's just remind Britney that we love her. Okay, let's make it chart. Let's make Blackout chart. Pretend like the album just dropped. Let's make it Blackout Summer. Come on, guys. I think that's the vibe. Okay? Just out of nowhere. Like, come on. No. Not asking. I'm telling. Gosh. Yeah. Whew. Laying down for a second. Like, really been going. Yep. My lower back really is hurting, though, guys. Like, it's stinky poopy. Stinky poopy. That's what it is. But, yeah, like, I'm kind of coming out of a slump. And I think I've been telling you guys that, where I was like, I'm in such a slump, like, I can't get out of this little depressive episode, and I kind of had the epiphany, I'm like, it's only a depressive episode because you're let it being one, like, your body's telling you need rest, so you actually need to rest, And it doesn't, just because your body needs rest doesn't mean you have to force yourself to have a depressive episode. How about that? And it's just like, managing depression is just like when you've had like, like I've had very severe depression. My depression is so much better now, but it's obviously I still deal with it on like occasions. And this was like maybe like a 2-week thing where I just really was feeling out of it. And it's the weather, and it's just being inside so much, and my body feels sore from being inside so much, and, no sunlight, and it's just cold and frigid out. But, yeah, so, like, of course, like, that's why I'm feeling depressed, but I have struggled with depression my whole life. And especially when I was like in middle school was so hard for me. And like, I had as chronically severe of depression as you can imagine. Like, I was there, like I had it. And I'm not going to go into all the reasons, like, but it was there. And it was even when like you're in a better phase of life, like my life is 100,000,000% better than it was in middle school and even in high school and college. And I struggled with depression very severely through all those things too. Only in the past about like 2.5 years even, have I really started making my depression symptoms manageable. And it's like, even when like you're happy now, it's just like, it's not that simple. And I think this was something I wish I had heard when I was in the depths of my depression, that like just focus on every little day how it's just a little bit better than the last, as you're working through things. Because this sounds like not a positive, but I'm going to say it like it is. It's like the depression is still always kind of there. Like, you're never going to fully get rid of it, which sounds scary and alarming, but almost like when I realized that, I almost took it more of like, there's always going to be a part of me, because I'm always going to be myself. I'm always going to have those memories. And if I think about it too hard, it's always going to make me sad. But it's like, okay, well, if that's just the truth, if it's always going to make me a little sad, like I can do all the healing work. It's never going to not make me a little sad that so many years of my life, I was horribly, 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 horribly depressed. Like, grotesque, felt like a monster, like, my obsession with Elsa, my obsession with Elphaba, like, all of these kind of, like, my obsession with Kylo Ren. It's like all of those characters, it's like they feel like they have this darkness inside them, and like they want to be good so bad. Like they want to be good so bad, but they cannot help that this darkness is inherently a part of them. And they cannot help what they've gone through that has made them learn at a very young age that the world is not safe. But what I love about especially Elsa's story, Elsa is the most positive version of those three characters. It's just like learning, it's all about like her powers too. It's all about learning to manage it. And you can change your environment so that you're not thinking about those things as often, and there's so many things you can do. You can change who you're around, you can change how you eat, how you exercise, what your job is, where you live. You can change all of those things to be happy in that environment. And that is obtainable for everyone. Like, that is how getting out of depression is, just doing that and throwing things at the wall until they work to figure out a routine that makes you feel stable and then on occasion provides happiness. You're never going to be happy all the time. If you're happy all the time, you're having some sort of manic episode. I hate to break it to you. No one's happy all the time. It's about figuring out places you can be content. And then accepting that sometimes when you think about when you were going through depressive times, the years you lost, it's going to make you feel sad. And that's okay. It would be weird if it never made you feel a little sad. You can't turn those emotions off. And that's what I think people have a misconception about what acceptance is. And I think that everything I just said is acceptance. Acceptance is going, this isn't working for me anymore, and doing something else that's better for you. And then once you're in that better state, knowing that some days are still going to be hard because you still lived through that, but you don't have to go back to that. And that keeps you going. That's my little tangent on depression. And, like, also, so, like, but I guess what I was saying, too, is that what I was realizing during the time where my body just really needed rest, I was not feeling good. I have some medical stuff that, like, I'm going through, and it's just, like, accepting that and working through that is, I don't have to have a depressive episode. Like, it's, like, I feel like when I'm feeling physically down, I start searching mentally, like, what can I mentally be upset about? What can I dissect? Like, I fall back into those habits, and I'm just trying to manage those habits, and I think I did a good job of pulling myself out of it this time before, it's a slippery slope. Like, sometimes once you're down that hill, a certain point, it's a muddy hill to climb back up. The farther you go down it, it's just harder to climb up, and I think I climbed up at a good time. You know? I didn't crash out. And I'm really proud of myself for doing that, because I definitely went through I did also have some weird stuff happen to me the past 2 weeks that definitely made me think and made me, and I'm not even gonna get into it. Like, that's Brinley's own personal, that I'm just gonna translate into the book. Because believe it or not, I actually have deeper thoughts than whatever is on this yap, where I swear my brain is more coherent than this. That probably doesn't make any sense, but verbalizing things is hard. I actually think I'm pretty good at verbalizing things, and I still, like, verbalizing things is hard. But, like, so something I'm also, like, accepting with, like, kind of, like, managing my depression and stuff like that is, like, I have to stop fighting my body. And I think a lot of us, like, really try to, guys, like, this week and, like, the next coming weeks, I want you to, like, this is something I'm doing, like, take pause where you're fighting your body. So, like, I realized, like, I've been having really bad insomnia the past 2 weeks, too, and I've been, like, trying to go to bed and falling asleep at, like, 2 a.m. and being so frustrated, and then waking up at, like, 10. So frustrated with that, because there's such a little daylight, and it's, like, I need to be in the daylight as much as possible, and I've been trying to fight it, but I'm trying to accept that, like, no matter how I've tried to change my sleep schedule, it is making me feel worse trying to change it, rather than maybe that extra 3 hours of sunlight I'd get to see if I could rearrange my day. So it's like, I'm just gonna start staying up till 2 a.m. and waking up at 10 and being okay with that, because, like, my work schedule, the way because, like, I do gig work, and so because I do gig work, and, you know, gigs, unless it's in the morning, which for me, they just happen to never be, like, first thing in the morning. Like, when you do gig work, it's like, I can sleep until 10. I'm very fortunate I can do that. So, like, for me, at least, I'm like, that's where I'm not gonna fight my body anymore. Like, if my body's like, I want to be up till 2 a.m. and I want to get up at 10 p.m. And I can make it work with my schedule. Okay, I'm going to do it. And I would just say for you guys to just, like, try to figure out what that thing is for you. And stop trying to fight your body. Like, and I'm going to let you know how it goes. Maybe it's not going to fix anything, but I slept better last night. I finally did. Like, last night I was so worked up from the game and everything. And, like, I have been listening to a lot of Glitch in the Matrix stories, like, podcasts, where the people send in their own Glitch in the Matrix stories. And it, so yesterday the living room and the kitchen and everything were a mess from the Super Bowl. So I just decided I was going to clean till 2 a.m. and tire myself out so that I'd fall asleep when I laid down. And that's exactly what happened. It was great. Like, I laid in bed and immediately fell asleep. Oh my gosh. Instead of tossing and turning for 2 hours, like, and when I woke up, my living room was clean. That was beautiful. I'm going to start doing chores at night when I'm super fuck-ass tired and wear myself out like I did. And I even did my nails. Like, I woke up this morning, I was like, wow, my nails look beautiful. Like, I was so tired, I barely remember doing them. Like, but they look so good. I mean, they're just press-ons. I always do press-ons, and I do, because press-ons are cheap. Press-ons are cheap. Even the expensive ones are like $15-20. Press-ons are cheap, and I get, and I know you're like, how do you glue them so that they don't pop off? I have this gel glue that does not need UV, which is crazy. And dude, it keeps my nails on. Like, my nails do not pop off. Like, earlier today, I messed one of them up and I needed to replace it with a replacement one because I fucked it. So I had to take like my little like nail tool thing and like really like peel it off, which I know people are like, it harms your nail beds, whatever. I want cute girly pop nails. I don't want to go to the salon. I don't have the patience. I don't like the sensory of it. I like press-ons, okay? And I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if anyone's going to give me crap about the press-ons because I like them. And I like their price range. I like that I get to do them. I don't have to do the sensory of sitting. And I don't really love the nail salon. I love a massage. I don't love my nails getting done. It's just too sensory, too much for the autism. I don't like it, but I like my press-ons. So I did my press-ons last night while I was tired, listening the entire time. For like 3 hours, I listened to Glitch in the Matrix stories. And now I'm like convinced I'm certain one will happen to me soon. And I'm going to talk about my Glitch in the Matrix stories. And then I'm going to... What is a Glitch in the Matrix story? Okay? Anyway, so listen to your bodies. I'm listening to mine. This is how I was doing it, by indulging in Glitch in the Matrix stories. Okay, so like, we're going to go to Reddit. So like... This is a perfect example. I found a short little one. This is a perfect example of, like, this is what a glitch in the Matrix is. So also think about if any have happened to you. And if they have, leave in the comments because I genuinely want to read them. I think they're so interesting, okay? I am obsessed. It's just the type of thing I'm obsessed with. And I'm obsessed with how many different ways it iterates for other people. It's so weird. So, this is from r/glitch in the Matrix from, yes, we went on Reddit for this. So, this person said, my cookies remade themselves a few weeks later. I made these confetti cookies a few weeks ago. They ran out promptly. The next week, I made chocolate chips, and those ran out too. I did not make cookies since then, but suddenly, today, the confetti cookies have respawned in this tin. Have you ever experienced this? Like, can you imagine, like, 3 weeks ago, you made a certain type of cookie. And then you ate them all. And then in that tin where you had those cookies, they're all back? What the hell? I would freak out! What? Like, oh my gosh. Okay. Another example. This is another perfect example. Medicine box sealed itself shut overnight. Hi everyone. I've been having horrible dust allergies and I went to the pharmacy to pick up some, I cannot pronounce medical pill names. She went over to the pharmacy to pick up some pills. I brought the box home, opened it up along with the pre-forted edge. I have a feeling that means like the little tear off part. Yeah. Took a pill and put it on the counter with the rest of our medicine. This morning, when I picked up the box, the preparation was perfectly intact, and there was no tearing or sign of being opened anywhere else. It was a totally fresh, unopened box. I opened it again, and when I took out the sleeve of pills, the one I took out yesterday was still missing. So the box was fully sealed shut, but still missing the one I took yesterday. There was no way we had an unopened box at home already, as we've just moved internationally within the last week and didn't bring any allergy medicine and had never purchased this brand or any other medicine in the country we live in now. That is freaky. Can you imagine, like, you're sick, you open up a medicine box, you pop out one of the pills, take it, go to bed. Next morning you wake up, the box is sealed. It's sealed shut again. You open it up, but the pill that you took is gone. What are we talking about? That's crazy. But like, imagine like it's a crisp new box. How do you explain that? Like, that's so freaky. Like, and I don't want to hear, oh, maybe it was a prank. Maybe it was a prank. Let me tell you my glitch in the Matrix story, okay? So, because I've been listening to these podcasts and being like, this is crazy. Like, I'm so spiritual and, like, woo-woo. Like, I feel like, have I had an experience like this? And then I remembered something that I had pushed down because I would just, like, gaslit myself that it didn't happen. So, at my old apartment, I would, when I was still doing long distance with my boyfriend, I would be on FaceTime with him, and I would always complain about the neighbors upstairs, because there was just, like, loud noises, and then there was also something very specifically the sound of a headboard or, like, the baseboard of a bed hitting the floor repetitively, but it would never last very long. It would last for, like, not long at all. And so I'd always make the joke to my boyfriend, like, that poor woman up there, she not getting it at all. Like, this sounds really sad for her upstairs, like, wishing her the best. And I also, at the time, lived in, like, a very conservative religious neighborhood, and I had, as one time I was, like, entering my apartment, and my neighbors who were dressed for some sort of, like, holiday for their religion that I wasn't aware of, they were coming downstairs, and again, very, very elaborately dressed, and they were holding it was two parents and, like, two kids, but three kids and one in a baby stroller, and the parents were carrying the baby stroller down the stairs. I went into my apartment. And then just something else to bring up was one time when I was entering my apartment on a different occasion, one of my neighbors who lived on the same floor as me was like, "Oh, are you part of this religious group who lives in this neighborhood?" And I was like, "No, I'm not." They were like, "Oh, I thought you were, because no, it wasn't somebody on my floor. It wasn't somebody on my floor. Or was it? I don't know. But then, anyways, this person was like, "Oh, are you part of that religious group?" I was like, "No, I'm not." And they were like, "Oh, well, I thought you were because everyone on the top floor is part of that group." And I was like, "No, I'm not." So, right, all of those things, and like, in that conversation, the neighbor had mentioned, like, "Oh, the floor above you is, you know, like, everyone on that floor is part of that religious group on the top floor." And I was like, "Oh, like, no, but I'm not." Anyways, so all those things happen, right? Then one night when my now roommate, when he first started dating my best friend, he has a telescope, and he was like, "Hey guys, like, there's, like, a supermoon tonight. Do you want to go up and look at it with my telescope on the roof?" And we were like, "Oh, great, let's go do that." Oh, wait, before I get to this story, and even before that, there was one time at work where I was walking, I was so tired, and I got to the top of my apartment, or I thought I was at my apartment, and I realized I looked around at all the other units in front of me, and realized I lived on the 4th floor. I realized I had walked to the 5th floor on accident. And I was like, oh, I walked too far, and I had to walk back down to let myself back in the apartment. Right? Anyway, so cut back to this time my friend was like, "Oh, do you want to go look at the supermoon with my telescope?" So we go up to the roof. But the weird thing was, I only went up 1 story instead of 2 stories to the roof. And I was like freaked out. I was like, "Vicky, isn't there 5 stories in this apartment?" And she was like, "No, there's only 4. I'm sorry, what? Because I feel like, okay, maybe I was gagged. And then I just pushed it down when that moment happened, and I was like, I guess there was always, like, 4 stories. I just didn't remember correctly. I never thought about it again, because it just, like, inherently felt, like, wrong to think about. Like, I mean, it was like, oh, well, no, I guess I must be wrong. But then, now I've listened to these Glitch in the Matrix stories, and now I'm thinking about it. It doesn't make any sense. So then I asked my boyfriend, and I was like, how many stories did my old apartment have? And he was like, it had 5. And he remembers there being 5. And then I talked to my best friend, who lived there, and I was like, how many stories did the old apartment have? She was like, it always had 4. And then, but even weirder, I talked to her boyfriend, and I was like, how many stories did our old apartment have? And he was like, only 3. So nobody knows. Nobody knows. But I can't explain it. Like, I'm trying to explain it in a way of like, okay, well, maybe we knew people did party on the roof because at one point there was a note like, stop partying on the roof. So that could make sense why there would be noise on the roof that I was hearing. But the thing is, I would consistently hear this like headboard tapping sound, and like, but at different, like, it was different durations like of time, but it was always short. But it really sounded, and I would joke all the time about, like, oh, that poor woman upstairs, like, she's not getting it. Like, her husband's not doing it for her. Like, I know he's not. And that's really what it sounded like. I'm like, okay, maybe explain that one's just a pipe. And there's people partying upstairs, that's what that is. But then what really confuses me is, well, one, I remember having walked to the 5th floor one time on accident. I don't explain that. Also with the neighbor being like, oh, do you live on the top floor? And yeah, we were on the 4th floor when they asked me, like, this person also lived on the 4th floor, and they asked me, like, oh, do you live on, but I guess they could have been referring to the floor that we lived on, and then they maybe were confused when I said no, because I thought there was a floor above us, but, like, they were making it seem like they weren't part of, like, the religious group who, like, everyone who lived on that floor was part of that certain religious group, and that's why they were asking if I was a part of it to see, like, oh, if I was going upstairs. Like, that's what the conversation seemed to be about. And I was like, maybe I completely misunderstood, but I'm like, well, why would they ask me if there was a floor? If I would live in the floor above doesn't exist. Maybe I misinterpreted the conversation. There's that. Maybe that happened. But then also, I saw neighbors from that dressed up very elaborately for, like, the ceremonial thing that they were going for their religion. Like, they were coming downstairs, like, with children. Why would if they lived in the building, then go all the way to the roof with their kids? I mean, maybe to take photos? But why would they have carried the stroller all the way up there? Like, it looked like, the impression it gave me when they were leaving the apartment, well, that they looked like they were leaving their apartment to get ready to go to a thing. And that week, too, I knew in the neighborhood, like, they were holding some sort of event. I don't remember what time of year it was, but, like, it made sense for these people to be dressed that way and going to the event that they were going to. So, I mean, like, I guess maybe they could have gone to the roof to take pictures. But why? I remember there being 5 stories. It sounded like there was 5 stories. I saw the 5th story. Like, I had walked up there before. And my boyfriend remembers there being 5 stories. But, no, there was always 4. I guess mine you can explain away, but I feel like it doesn't make sense to me. Like, even with my explanations, like, I mean, like, I guess you can explain it away, but I feel like that's the closest thing I have to a glitch in the Matrix story, because I remember there being 5 stories in that building, and there was only ever 4. That's my glitch in the Matrix stories, guys. It freaked me out. And I honestly would love to experience one again. Because the universe is like, I heard you, bitch. Now something crazy gonna happen to you. Like, I don't want any crazy one to happen to me where, like, I would be harmed. I don't want to get stuck in the back rooms. That's not what I'm saying. Actually, even though I think I kind of would fuck with it. Like, I know Kane Pixels is already making the back rooms movie, but if there's a second one, I got to be in it. I have to be in it. I have to be in some sort of backrooms thingy. I love it. Okay. That's my glitch in the Matrix stories and why I've been staying up. So yeah, like, I stay up till 2 a.m. cleaning my apartment, listening to scary, like, glitch in the Matrix stories. That's what comforts me. That's what puts me to bed at night. You know? Hunkshu, me. Yep. So that's that. What else has been going on with me? My Fortnite addiction is truly an addiction. I have an addictive personality, and I am obsessed with playing Fortnite. I'm obsessed with getting that #1 victory royale. They put Chapel Roan in Fortnite. They made Chapel Roan the face of Fortnite all of a sudden. Like, they knew I was gonna be there. And so I've been playing as Chapel Roan, and I just get, the speed I've gotten better at Fortnite is unreal. Like, I went from getting maybe 2 kills a game to now usually getting, like, 7 to 10 kills a game. And I'm kind of a Fortnite legend. And if I can figure out how to stream, like, I'll start streaming. But I just gotta figure out how to do it. Because I only have a PlayStation. So I don't have, I don't know. I don't know how to hook up the camera and do the da-da-da-da. I don't know. I don't know how to do that. I don't know what that gotta do with me. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do all that. I don't. I gotta figure that out. Anyways, so Andromeda book update. Haven't really written. I've been working on my outline for the book series, like getting. I mean, I have an outline for like literally the next 7 books, but like we're going beat for beat outline. Like that's where I'm at. So I've been working on the outline because I needed a break from actual writing because my brain felt like a fishbowl. And I have like this next chapter that I need to work on. I really don't want to, just because it's sometimes it's gonna be a great chapter. Like I know once I write it, I'm gonna be like, I love this chapter, I'm obsessed with it. But sometimes when like all my exposition chapters, I'm very good at disguising them. But I know that they're exposition chapters. Like I think I'm very good as a writer at not just writing exposition. You're like, wow, I feel like I'm getting exposition thrown at me right now. I'm very good at writing exposition chapters, but hiding that they're exposition chapters. So I'm sure it will be very entertaining for you all to read, and I guarantee by the time I'm done writing it, I'll love it. But it's just, the thing about my book series is because it's going to be 7 books, like, that's why I'm saying I'm very good at hiding exposition chapters, because y'all don't know what foreshadowing is. Y'all don't know that you're getting exposition. You just are like, ooh, fun world building. Nope, sometimes it's exposition and it's going certain place. But I also am so good at world building that y'all don't know. You gotta look out for everything. There's details everywhere. Maybe it's all exposition. No, but this certain chapter is like, it's an exposition chapter, and those ones tend to bore me as a writer because I'm like, I already know these things. I already knew that. Well, the audience doesn't. They don't know that at all. That's important. They should know that before you keep writing. Damn. It's gonna be what I call sort of the Wizard and I chapter I'm working on. And I just had a vision, almost like a prophecy. I know it sounds truly crazy and true. The vision's hazy, but I swear someday there'll be a celebration throughout Oz. That's all to do with me. That's kind of the vibe of the chapter. And I'll stand there with the wizard, feeling things I have never felt. And though I'd never show it, I'd be so happy I could melt. And so it will be for the rest of my life, and all or nothing else till I die, held in such high esteem. When people see me, they will scream for half of Oz's favorite team, the Wizard and I can't do the whole note. I'm sure I'm blacking out the mic. I'm sure I'm killing all of your ears. Sometimes you just gotta hit that shit real quick. The Wizard and I, my cat meowing at me. Is my cat in the closet? Am I about to open this closet door and my cat's in there? He's like, stop singing. You woke me up from my nap. What? He's not in the closet. Maybe he's outside this door. Me, when I told my Glitch in the Matrix story, I'm like, play the X-Files music there. Oh, God. We'll see if I broke the mic with that. Oh, the cats are fighting out there. It's not a glitch in the Matrix. I just kind of was hoping that it was. I was like, no, because you start looking out for things, and then that's the discernment thing. Anyways. So but what I'm really enjoying right now about my writing is just where I'm at with I just love the planet that they're on. They're on like a desert, kind of like steampunk planet. It's like kind of like set basically in like basically the Grand Canyon. It's set in basically the Grand Canyon, but they're on like a planet, like a Mars-like planet, so there's a biodome that makes the air breathable, and all the plants and all the seeds and all the animals that were introduced there are all artificial. And even the water that runs through the valley is pumped up by a machine, like that takes water from like the inside of the planet, and everything about it is artificial. But like, it's a planet that had life billions of years ago, but now it's all dead, and it's like a planet like Mars, and they live in a biodome, and it's like a steampunk, cowboy, Wild West situation, okay? Mob bosses. And it's so fun. It's just, I need to rewatch Westworld for some inspiration, just for some, because I've watched that series, I just need to watch it again, but it's just... Yeah, I love the environment of it. It's just such a fun place to work. So I enjoy whenever I can really use the environment to my advantage. And that's just something I've been enjoying recently. Anyways, let's wrap this show up. We're going to do my motivation for the week, which is you don't need to be digestible to get things done. As a woman, your main goal should never to be likable. You gotta do exactly what you want to do and know that people along the way are gonna hate you for no reason for doing it because you're a woman or a girl, gay, they, or a person of color. Right? Because y'all my audience. And it's just like, when you just gotta focus on succeeding and not focus on being liked while you're trying to succeed. Focus on your success. Focus on the vibe you bring to the party. And know that some people aren't going to fuck with it. But as long as you fuck with it and know that you're being a good, honest person and you're striving for your goal every day, you don't need to be digestible. Because people are always going to hate on you. And if you try to be digestible and have everyone like you all the time, people are going to end up not liking you. Everyone that I know who tries too hard to be digestible, it's like you're poisoning your palate, dude. You just have to accept some people you're going to rock with and some people you aren't going to. Like... is what it is. And it's like, if you try to be the most digestible person on the planet, you become, if you become stale bread so that everyone likes you, then you're just stale bread. Like, come on. It's just like, I want all of us to just throw out the idea of being digestible. Know that you're going to fuck with some people aren't going to like you, as long as you prioritize your goals and don't focus on how everyone else is feeling about your goals. You're going to be a lot happier, I promise you. Anyways, that was the Yapathon. Thanks for being incoherent with me. Love you guys. Remember to girly pop. Remember, it's blackout summer. It is Hiker Kenchily, Sweet Home, Alabraska, and I know you stole my cheese. Thank you very much. So, hope you enjoyed the yap. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.